The goal of our research project was to investigate evidence-based preventative behavior management strategies for student-centered learning. To achieve this goal, we divided this topic into subtopics among the members of our research team. These underlying subtopics were ways to increase student engagement, utilizing the structure and design of student-centered learning activities, the effects of environmental modification, and increasing student choice. These four subtopics were studied within the context of student-centered learning activities specifically, as opposed to teacher-centered content delivery. Our four literature reviews of the subtopics revealed key underlying themes that were important for effective preventative classroom management. Although there are many underlying factors that lead to student misbehavior in the classroom, we collectively found that a major contributor was the level of engagement with class tasks. The structure, design, and organization of these tasks should consider engagement as a factor to prevent disengagement and hence prevent misbehavior. In relation to the literature regarding lesson task structure, engagement may increase if the activities include clear sections and flow between these different sections. Although repetition may help students to retain learned concepts, engagement can be maintained by breaking up these concepts into different sections and repeating them using a variation of activity types. Ensuring that tasks flow and connect with learning goals was also shown to increase a sense of relevance of the activity. Across the literature reviews, it was found that creating a sense of relevance in the content for students was an important factor in maintaining engagement with tasks and preventing misbehavior due to disengagement. Designing and presenting activities in multiple ways is not only engaging, but also provides opportunities for differentiated learning and inclusive learning to meet individual student needs. Implementing differentiation strategies within the structure and design of student-centered learning activities may help cater towards students' individual levels of ability, thereby allowing them to participate fully in the activity and prevent them from resorting to disruptive behavior.
Giving students a sense of choice in the way they could engage with tasks was also a key factor in preventative behavior management strategies found throughout all four of the subtopic literature reviews. Analysis of the literature by a group identified abundant evidence that supports the use of student choice within student-centered learning tasks. Providing students with a sense of choice and access to preferred learning options may give them a sense of responsibility to complete tasks and increase engagement, thus reducing disruptive behavior. The choices given to students about how they can complete activities can act as preventative behavior management by allowing them to choose processes that appeal to their interests and their abilities and allows them to improve and express their understanding more efficiently. Student choice has also been found to engage students by giving them a sense of ownership over their own work. When students can choose how to complete student-centered learning tasks, they may develop a sense of responsibility and motivation to complete their chosen activity and are therefore less likely to become disengaged. In the collective literature reviews of the subtopics, we found that student choice must be balanced with clear learning outcomes and some level of teacher guidance so that students' choices are appropriate for the goals of the lesson. This is especially necessary with students in younger years such as stage 4 and 5 secondary students, as most students are still developing their independent learning skills in their adolescent years. To achieve this balance between student choice and teacher guidance, each of our subtopics revealed different strategies. For example, student choice can be restricted to certain options that are designed into the scaffold of the learning task itself. Students can choose to complete tasks individually or in appropriately chosen groups, and boundaries may be set by designing the task and modifying the learning environment. The learning environment was found to be a key factor throughout all four literature reviews for preventative behavior management. By preventing misbehavior through organizing activities that support engagement and include student choices, teachers can also develop their teaching environment to cater towards their goals. Suggested strategies were found to involve modifying the physical environment, such as removing known distractors for students and setting special boundaries, modifying classroom arrangements such as seating plans and student workspaces, and modifying the environment to support positive relationships, such as allowing space for different modes of group activity and different levels of teacher guidance.
An analysis of artifacts, such as lesson resources and lesson reflections, revealed similar features that were shared by most of the artifacts. For example, most artifacts included multiple means of representation of information, for example in textual and visual forms. Most artifacts reflected clear stages within the resources that included a variety of activities. All the artifacts had some degree of student choice. For example, students could create their own experiment to find an answer to a set question, or create their own fitness circuit in PDHPE. However, the level of choice presented throughout each artifact was minimal in comparison to what was suggested by the literature review. The artifacts were found to cater more towards pair and group activities rather than individual activities. This may be to foster collaboration skills and help students complete the activities more efficiently by working together. Lesson reflections showed that grouping was used as a preventative behavior management strategy by carefully choosing group members. Lesson reflections also noted that the ability for the teacher to move around the class during the activity provided opportunities for non-verbal communication that was aimed at misbehavior prevention.
When reviewing the interviews analysing the correlations between student engagement and student-teacher relationship, the following was found. There was a large disparity in how students described their school experience. Some students cited school as amazing or fun, while others listed it as a waste of time. Every student listed a teacher they would go to in a time of need. Not every student described their relationship as friendly, but every student admitted respect for the teacher that they chose to approach. Students generally leaned towards enjoying the classes of the teachers they liked. The opposite is also true. When a student has a poor working relationship with a teacher, they were shown to not enjoy the classes and find their punishments as unfair rather than justified. 70% of students listed their favourite class as being run by their favourite teacher. Students have a conscious awareness of their behaviour in reference to their relationship with their teacher. That is, students were largely shown to intentionally misbehave for teachers they didn't like. This was especially shown when referring to another student rather than reflecting on their own behaviour.
3 in-service teachers were interviewed for the purpose of data analysis. The responses were audio recorded and key themes from the responses were written down on Word document. All the interviewees identified student misbehavior as disruptive, undesirable activities in the classroom by students that impede learning goals. All the 3 interviewees agreed that minimizing student behavior in classroom is of paramount importance. All the interviewees identified student choice as a positive pedagogical tool. Out of the 3 interviewees, 2 said that they have used student choice as behavior management tool in their teaching career. One interviewee said that while she is in favor of student choice, she has not had the opportunity to do so and is quite unlikely to do so in the future as well, as she thinks it does not suit her teaching style. Also, she said that she has other behavior management strategies to reduce misbehavior, which works well for her. One interviewer recalled her first experience of implementing student choice as quite challenging. However, she was able to perfect that through experimenting over a period of time. One of the interviewees said that she uses student-led activities, particularly on Fridays in the last period, when students are less likely to stay engaged in teacher-led classroom activities. 2 of the interviewees said that they will continue using student choice as a behavior management tool in the future. The other interviewee said that she will consider using it, depending on the competency level of her class.
Part of our action research into the preventative behaviour management strategies of teachers, we surveyed 3 pre-service and 6 in-service teachers. Participants were initially presented with 3 separate statements about the importance of environmental factors on the engagement of students, to which participants' responses showed a general consensus that the environment indeed does play a part in the engagement of students. Participants were also asked to state what they think the main causes of misbehaviour in student-led activities are. Most respondents said either disinterest in the topic or distraction from friends or peers are the main cause of disengagement for students. Participants were also asked how they manage misbehaviour and disengagement in their own class during student-led activities. 4 out of 9 of the responses mentioned setting boundaries and making expectations of behaviour clear to the students. Also, 5 of the 9 respondents mentioned proactive strategies such as rule setting or creating engaging activities, rather than reactive strategies like detention and redirecting attention, which made up 5 out of 9 of the responses.
Across the board, both students and teachers agreed about the criticality of student engagement in the classroom. Students cited it as making learning more enjoyable, and teachers cited it as making a classroom more manageable. The means with which we get to this point, however, were less clear. Every study conducted, however, came to the consensus that a student's external influences, such as their environment, are at play when determining a student's level of engagement. This evidences that while student motivation may at some level be intrinsic, there are steps that can be taken in order to resolve, or at least to diminish, student behavioural issues related to engagement. 2 of the studies cited the importance of well-grouped students and the potential for student distractions from their peers to contribute to a lack of focus in the classroom. Further, 2 of the studies cited disinterest in the subject matter as another contributing factor. Interestingly though, a correlation between interest in subject material and relationship between teacher and student was found, thus exposing a potential solution to an issue that is often thought of as quite innate. Another connection between studies was found, related to perceived fairness of boundary setting. It was shown that students who understand clear boundaries believe their consequences to be justified. This, alongside highlighting the importance of clear instruction, demonstrates a means with which to build an understanding of fairness and therefore a relationship with the teacher. In turn, this relationship building was shown in one study to increase student engagement. Finally, the studies demonstrated a large connection between a teacher's approach to discipline with student behaviour. Should a teacher anticipate misbehaviours and counteract them through intentional lesson scaffolding or student choice, the benefits were shown twofold, both short-term in maintaining student interest and long-term by developing the student-teacher relationship.
Although our collective data analyses showed evidence of teachers using student choice in student-centered learning activities, the level of student choice found in the artifacts and interviews showed less usage when compared to recommendations by the literature. A future focus for action research may focus on this inconsistency between the literature and the data. The data analysis also revealed that teacher-student relationships are an important factor for how the interviewed students behave in class. If we were to focus on an action research study based on increasing student choice as a variable, the literature suggests that this could lead to positive teacher-student relationships, leading to improved engagement and thereby preventing misbehavior. The literature's synthesis revealed that one issue with increasing student choice may be that excessive choice could lead to disengagement and students may become misdirected. The data analysis on environmental modification may be able to help inform a balanced approach, as creating set boundaries and expectations may help direct students to make appropriate choices during activities. The level of student choices within activities may be more restrictive and scaffolded for junior year groups, which have been found to benefit from a more scaffolded activity style compared to senior level students who have developed independent learning skills.
The results of the aforementioned studies are an indicator that not only is change feasible, but it has the potential to be very effective. Acknowledgement that a change of environment can be a catalyst for change of misbehaviour patterns and disengagement levels is paramount in understanding the value of an action research plan on this topic. The research demonstrated value in teacher planning and anticipation of misbehaviour through task design, and thus, this action research aims to educate teachers on the values of student choice in maintaining discipline in the classroom. This isn't to say that complete freedom is of benefit, however. Some teachers may need to further learn from this that too much choice, or the wrong kind of choice, is also a breeding ground for distraction and disengagement. Action research can't be standardised. Due to the nature of action research being personal and specific to the teacher and classes involved, teachers must first define what constitutes as misbehaviour in their class during self-centered learning activities. Teachers will need to identify which students in their class are disengaged and use these as the research targets. These students should be surveyed about their interests, their favourite elements of the subject, their favourite means with which to learn or submit work, and any other elements that may enable teachers to vary their task design.
Plan activities that include opportunities for multiple means of representation of information, multiple means for students to express their learning, multiple means of engagement by including student interest and relevance. Plan these activities so that there is still structure and scaffolding within the activity that aims students in the right direction and provides clear expectations for their process and results. Teacher journal entries or observations or possibly recordings. Reflect on the behavior of the class and target students over the course of the action research project. Reflect on any reduced incidences of misbehavior due to prevention via engagement. Survey students for feedback on whether their interests were met, if they felt engaged, and if they felt their relationship with their teacher improved.